Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Psych Mom Show. So today I'm answering a reader question, which I like to do, and I will give... before I start, everybody should subscribe. I keep forgetting to say that, but everybody should subscribe and then write in with your own questions. You can subscribe and listen to me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I just got on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, just wherever there's podcasts, I'm there. And I would also like you to rate me. I have some good 5-star ratings on Spotify, so that's great. Thanks so much. And also follow me on Facebook, Dr. Psych Mom. Anyhow, so this guy, to his credit, he wrote in and he wonders if he's being an asshole. You know, they have that Reddit thing, AITA, am I the asshole? Well, I mean... I'll just let you listen to his question for yourselves, okay? Listening to your Touch as Love Language podcast, you made the comment about a guy being an asshole for not telling your wife she is beautiful. My wife hit me with this the other day. She said, "You'll tell me you think I look sexy or I'm sexy, hot, look good, but not beautiful." I love my wife, and I do find her sexually attractive, and yes, maybe I am being an ass. She was never small, but has put on a lot of weight. I don't like it, so I find it hard to say. Partly because I feel like I'm saying I like the changes when I do not. I want her to get into a healthier shape. My guess is she outweighs me by 50 to 60 plus pounds. How do I give her the affirmation she wants without feeling like I'm lying or supporting her to do nothing to improve this? I accept her as she is, but I'm not happy with it. Okay, so much here. Thanks for writing in. As you may hear from my skeptical tone, I do believe you are being an asshole, but I will explain why. So I have my most popular post on drpsychmom.com is this guy who's not attracted to his wife anymore because she's become obese, and he cannot even climax with her when they have sex, and they're separated because this is such a big deal for him, and he's been to therapy, I think, from what I remember, but either way, whether it was in therapy or not, he relates it back to his mother, whom he had problems with being obese. And so that guy, I say, listen, leave. Like, there's nothing, you are not, to that man, being the asshole. Because you try to deal with this and you just can't. You cannot be with this person sexually. It's not your thing. It's as repulsive to you as if, like, my husband decided that he was never going to, like, brush his teeth again or something. I would not be able to stay in that marriage. That would be so disgusting. You know, I mean, and it's just not possible to be with somebody that you're in no way attracted to. Now, this is really far from your situation. This is not even on the same planet as your situation. In this situation, you find your wife sexually attractive. You tell her that she's sexy, you tell her that she's hot, and you tell her she looks good. You just won't tell her she's beautiful. So your wife's weight has zero to do with the problem here. The problem is this. You feel like there's some passive-aggressive kind of withholding way that you could talk to your wife that's going to make her want to lose weight. You say at the end that you accept her how she is. You do not at all accept her how she is. You are hoping that she is going to lose weight. And the mean part of this is you're thinking that if you just withhold the specific type of love and affirmation that she wants, she's going to go immediately to the spin class and lose a bunch of weight. No, this is not nice. You are attracted to your wife from what you say. You could just be more attracted to her if she was thinner. I bet she could be more attracted to you if you did some other stuff. I don't know if it's grow more hair. Certainly be nicer or lose some weight yourself. Or, you know, the guys who write in with this usually compulsive exercise addicts. So maybe it's not that. Maybe she wants you to be taller, be nicer, have different clothes. Who the hell knows? But probably just be nicer would be the key. So I'm giving you some tough love here. You are attracted to your wife and you don't want to get out of your marriage. Nothing you said indicates that. You appear to be having good sex with your wife. Otherwise, you wouldn't be telling her that other stuff. She is deeply yearning for you to say, I love you to her by saying she's beautiful. That's her love language. Yours is probably sex, but from how much you say she's sexy and whatever. So if your love language is sex, and let's say you said you wanted a blowjob, and she would just not give you a blowjob. She'd do everything else, she wouldn't give you a blowjob. And we're in couples counseling together, I would be really interrogating why she will not give you a blowjob when that's the specific type of thing you want in your love language. How hard is it? It's not that hard. So we would be really talking about why she has some hard stop on that. And you know what? It wouldn't really have to do with you. In the case where she had some hard stop on that, the women who have like all these hard stops on various things they'll do in bed and various things they don't want to do in bed, and it's like a minefield, there are always other issues with attachment, vulnerability, and intimacy. That's what makes people really rigid. And you have the same thing. You are not being fully open and loving with your wife. You're not giving her the emotional blowjob. Her love language is words of affirmation, but you will not give her the one thing that she wants to hear, despite that you love her. I bet you think she's a beautiful person on the inside. I bet that if somebody else came up to you and said, man, your wife's ugly, you would punch him. So what is it exactly that you're doing? You're trying to, in some way, coerce her into doing what you wish she would do by withholding the type of love that she wants, which is definitely due to you having some sort of issues with intimacy and pure giving and receiving of love. Because if you did not have those issues, you would not even be able to write in this question, because it would be so mean to you in your mind to love your wife, think that she's hot, have sex with her, but just refuse to use this one word. Because for some reason to you, this means now you condone her being fat. Listen, it's not your place to condone or not condone. You obviously think that she's sexy. You're attracted to her. You don't seem to be wanting to leave her over this. Unless you left that part out, would be a pretty big part to leave out. So in your case, you have what could be a very loving marriage. If you opened yourself up to that you're not God, you should not be giving, plagues and punishments when you don't get what exactly you want in exactly the way that you want it. Many men would be very happy to be in a situation where they found their wife sexy, including this guy with the obese wife that I will link you to in the description. So I do think you're being withholding. And you are having a hard stop around just the thing that she needs to feel deeply loved. And this is not a her weight issue. Because I will bet you anything that she used to be thinner and you were still kind of an asshole. And I say this with love. I say it kindly, the same as I would if you were my client, calling you out, but trying to keep you honest. And also, I know that people do not write in for me to beat around the bush. That's not my style. So, yes, I do think that you are trying to passive-aggressively, kind of really aggressively, really it's pretty mean just to not use that word when the woman is asking for it, trying to coerce her into doing what you want. Let me tell you how this is going to work. It's not. It's not going to work. The sadder she is and the more she feels that you don't love her and that you don't think that she's beautiful, the less motivation she has to change, not the more motivation. So if your wife completely cut you off from sex, again, I'm assuming that you have a reasonable sex life. Otherwise, you wouldn't be saying all that stuff about you think she's sexy and looks good. You'd probably be writing in about your bigger fish to fry, which is that you're in a sexless marriage. But so I'm going to assume that you have a normal sex life that is in some way good for you, except that she's too fat. So if she decided that you're such a jerk, kind of always nitpicking, sarcastic, difficult man. And so what she's really going to do to make you change on a deep internal level is she's going to cut you off from sex. What the hell? You're going to get worse. You are going to get worse, and not before you get better. You're never going to get better. Because now, instead of just being difficult and withholding, you're also going to be betrayed, abandoned, and angry and sad because you have been cut off from what your love languages is by somebody who ostensibly loves you, but is somehow wanting to coerce or punish you. That is not what love is about. So if you do love your wife and she is just not, as thin as she used to be, which is not an uncommon situation, then the way to, quote, get, it's not like you want her to get into a healthier shape. Okay, cool. And you can say that. You could just say that outright. You cannot make her do that by being mean to her. That is not right. And I hope that you wouldn't do that with a child. If you had a daughter who was 12 years old and you thought that she was fat, I hope that you would say, "You're my beautiful girl. Also, I want to get us into better shape as a family," or however you spun it, So and there's, of course, different points of view now about whether people should say anything. I am of the more traditional leaning that, yes, if a loved one's weight is spiraling out of control, then that's not good. That's not an ideal situation, and we don't have to put our heads in the ground about that. But I think that you are trying not to say something directly because maybe you think it would be too mean, but instead what you're doing is so much more mean. So if you think that your wife is in any way beautiful, right? Internal, external, just for putting up with you, for having your kids, whatever. Beautiful. She wants an easy term here. She's not saying svelte and slim and lithe. She's not saying sylph-like. She's saying beautiful. If you can't think that your wife is beautiful, I don't even think you should be married. Really, because some other man would think that she is beautiful and she deserves to hear that rather than you just smacking her ass and saying she looks good, which is demeaning in the context of a man not also saying that you're beautiful. So I say stop trying to beat around the bush and backdoor into making her change, because all that's going to do is make her feel unloved because you're refusing to give her what she needs. Instead, why don't you tell her how beautiful she is all the time in whatever way you need to put it in your head to be honest. I really put an honest in air quotes there because I bet you tell white lies all the time like the majority of human beings. And, there's something to be said for exploring why you just won't say this one, which is what we're trying to do here. And if I had to guess, I would say that you did not really see growing up a father tell a mother that she's beautiful and treat her with adoration, because otherwise that's what would be becoming second nature. And not just if she was skinny. But anyhow, what I suggest you do is you say, it's really, I do think you're beautiful. I've been being a big asshole like I am in, these other 15 ways that I'm sure you are and that she's told you are over the years. And I am being passive aggressive and I'm expecting you to give me my love language and I'm not saying yours, and that's fucked up. Also, this weight is a big deal for me, and I want us to see if we could, work on it more, and that's, what I feel, because that's direct, and she knows that you think it anyway, so you might as well come out and say it. If you think, though, and it's only you that can make this determinant, if you think that your wife would be so hurt by that it could potentially lead to the dissolution of your marriage, well then, you're in a pickle. The resolution of the pickle is not to keep being a backdoor, passive-aggressive, indirect asshole. The pickle would be, is the marriage worth it if she never loses weight? Because if she says, well, I can't, I've been trying and I can't, and that's kind of it. I'm accepting my body for what it is, and if you don't like it, you can lump it, and we can get a divorce. Well, you got to be ready for her to say that, right? But what you can't do ethically is stay in a relationship with a woman that you ostensibly love, but just not call her beautiful, because that is emotionally very withholding and mean, and it is not nice. And if you had a daughter, you would never want a man to act like this. You would want a man, in fact, the opposite, that thinks she's beautiful no matter what, but, not quite as sexy with, 20, 40 extra pounds on. It's the opposite. You want, like, beautiful is a different kind of word. It means somebody that you really love to their core. You say, what a beautiful baby, what a beautiful sunset. That work of art is beautiful. So you don't say, what a hot, sexy ass sunset. Like, when you see something beautiful, it means it's transformative. And if you don't feel that way about your wife, like, you shouldn't really be with her. And if you can switch it around in your mind to say, why am I being such a withholding dick? Am I like this in other areas? Did I perhaps see something similar to this withholding, passive-aggressive pattern in my family of origin? Then maybe this can open up your mind. We all know that you don't want your wife to be this fat, but kind of what does it matter? She is what she is. If she feels loved, she will change a lot quicker than if she doesn't, but she may not change. So you are going to have to pick your battles here, and you should definitely be direct if you have to versus being indirect and withholding the word beautiful, which she is craving because it indicates deep unconditional love. And you can't just do that. If you truly have a deep problem with the weight, put it out on the table and see if she says that she could work on it more than she has been, if that's a possibility. And don't do this emotional warfare stuff, though, because that's not right. And that would be just like if you liked sex and she cut you off. Would that make you less of an asshole? Hell no. That would make you more of an asshole, because now you also feel abandoned, betrayed, and like she's just being malicious and trying to pull your strings to make you behave in the way she wants, like a marionette. Nobody wants to feel like that. On your wife's side, she probably has pretty low self-esteem, A, about the weight, because that's really hard for women, but B, because her husband won't call her beautiful. And if you have low self-esteem, you feel just kind of hopeless and down and blah and depressed. And for women, depression goes along with eating more, sleeping more, and just kind of being very sensitive. It's called atypical depression. Your wife may have it. I can link you to that too. I have no idea. Never met your wife, never met you, so I'm not diagnosing her. What I'm saying, though, is that depression would make a woman gain weight and would also make a woman very sensitive to negative feedback. And so if you are in any way perpetuating your wife being in a depressed state, you are never, ever, you could not pick a worse way to get her to lose weight. That's never going to happen. All right, well, thanks so much for writing in. Since you indicated the flexibility of mind to ask if you were being an ass, I hope that you welcome my tough love on this one and that it helps you reframe in even a small way this problem to the point that you can get your mind around calling your wife beautiful and seeing if that is really transformative for her. And if it's not, what is transformative for women, the real money shot, you saying you were wrong. That's probably even better than calling her beautiful. If you're like, man, I was so wrong about this. I was thinking about it all wrong, and you are beautiful. If she hears that you're wrong, you are definitely going to be having sex if you weren't before. All right, good luck with that, and I will talk to everybody soon.